Everyone who saw his face took a step back. They said he looked furious. They said no family would ever want a cat who looked like that. At the shelter, the volunteers warned me before I even opened the carrier. "He scowls at everyone," one of them said. "He's not mean, he just looks like he hates the world." I should have listened more carefully to that second sentence because nothing about what came next made any sense until it made all the sense in the world. I had no idea I was about to bring home the gentlest cat I would ever meet. But to understand how a face that scared grown adults ended up melting an entire family, we have to go back to the night I found him. 3 weeks earlier, on a street 2 blocks from my apartment, in the rain, completely alone. He was soaked from nose to tail. He wasn't moving. For a second, I thought I was too late. I almost didn't see him. He was pressed against a fence, half hidden under a parked car, his orange fur dark and flattened from the rain. When I crouched down, he didn't run. He just stared at me. And that stare, I will never forget that stare. His eyes were narrowed, his ears pinned back, his whole face twisted into what looked like pure rage. I genuinely thought he might attack me. Instead, when I reached out, he leaned into my hand. It made no sense. A face like that doing something so soft. I wrapped him in my jacket and carried him straight to an emergency vet. The vet took one look at him and laughed, not unkindly. "That's just his face," she said. "Some cats are born looking angry. It doesn't mean anything." He was underweight, dehydrated, but otherwise healthy. She gently lifted his paw to check for injuries, and even then, mid-exam, he let out a low, rumbling purr nobody expected. No microchip, no collar, no owner looking for him. I named him Rusty for the color of his fur and took him home that same night. My mother was the first to meet him. She took one look and said, "Are you sure that cat doesn't hate you?" I laughed it off, but even I wasn't sure. For the first few days, Rusty stayed under the couch. He came out to eat, he came out to use the litter box, and then he disappeared again. Every time I walked past, that same scowl followed me with its eyes. Friends who visited kept their distance. "He looks like he's plotting something," one of them joked. I started to wonder if the shelter volunteer had been wrong. Maybe his face really did mean something. Maybe some cats just never learned to trust people again. Then came the night everything changed. It started like any other, quiet, ordinary, nothing special about it at all. It was raining again, just like the night I found him. I was sick with a fever, curled up on the couch, too exhausted to even reach for water. But what Rusty did next would change how I saw him forever. For 3 days, Rusty hadn't come within 10 feet of me. But that night, somewhere around midnight, I felt something land softly on the blanket. It was him. He climbed up, slow and careful, and pressed himself against my side. His face was still doing that same furious scowl, but his body was shaking, not from anger. He was trembling because I was shivering, and somehow he had noticed. He stayed there the entire night. Every time I shifted, he repositioned himself closer. By morning, my fever had broken, and Rusty was curled into the crook of my arm, purring like he'd been doing it for years. When my mother came to check on me, she stopped in the doorway. "He hasn't left your side all night," she said. "I watched him on the camera. He didn't move once." I didn't know what to say. The cat everyone warned me about had spent the night guarding me instead of hiding from me. After that, something shifted. Rusty stopped disappearing under the couch. He started following me from room to room, scowling the entire time, like following me personally offended him. He'd headbutt my hand, then immediately look annoyed about it. He'd fall asleep across my lap with the exact same furious expression he wore the day I found him. Visitors still flinched when they saw his face, and every single time, within minutes, they'd watch him climb straight into their lap and demand to be petted. One friend started calling him the world's angriest lap cat, and the nickname stuck. "How is this the same cat?" my mother kept asking. I didn't have an answer. I just knew something in him had decided I was safe. I see you still haven't subscribed. Honestly, that breaks my heart a little. Hit that button right now. Rusty would appreciate it, even if his face won't show it. Little did I know, the real test was still ahead of us. Then, about 2 months after I found him, something happened that I still think about constantly. It was 3:42 in the morning. I woke up to Rusty standing directly on my chest, his face inches from mine, and for the first time ever, he was making a sound I had never heard him make. Not a meow, something closer to a yowl. Urgent, sharp, relentless. I tried to push him off and go back to sleep. He wouldn't move. He clawed gently at my shoulder again and again until I finally sat up. That's when I smelled it. What I found next would stay with me for a long time. Smoke. Faint but unmistakable, drifting in from the kitchen. I ran out to find a dish towel that had fallen onto the stove, smoldering against a burner I must have forgotten to fully turn off. A few more minutes and it could have caught the cabinets above it. I put it out with water from the sink, hands shaking, heart pounding. When I turned around, Rusty was sitting in the doorway, watching me. His face still wore that same permanent scowl, but his eyes never left mine. I sat down on the kitchen floor and he walked straight over and climbed into my lap. For the first time since I'd found him, he pressed his head against my chest and stayed completely still. I called my mother the next morning, still shaking. He woke me up, I told her. He wouldn't stop until I got up. She was quiet for a moment. "That cat you thought hated you," she finally said, "just saved your apartment." I sat there holding the phone, looking at Rusty curled on the windowsill, scowling at a pigeon outside like it had personally wronged him. The same face that once made strangers nervous had just spent the night making sure I was safe. I don't think I will ever look at that face the same way again. It's been almost a year now since that night. Rusty still has the same face. He still scowls at the mailman, scowls at thunderstorms, scowls at his own reflection in the oven door for reasons known only to him. Strangers who meet him for the first time still take that same small step back, but everyone who spends a week with him ends up the same way, laughing, wondering how they ever thought that face meant anything bad. My mother visits every weekend now, mostly to see him. She brings him treats and calls him her grumpy grandson, which he accepts with his usual unimpressed stare while purring the entire time. The shelter volunteer who warned me about his scowl was right about one thing. It really is just his face. It was never a warning. It was never anger. It was just the shape he was born with, covering up one of the most loyal hearts I have ever known. He's put on weight since then, filled out across the shoulders, and somehow the scowl looks even more dramatic on a cat who naps 18 hours a day. I think about that night in the kitchen often, about how close that night really was. Rusty never asked to be misjudged. He just kept showing up anyway, scowl and all, until the truth became impossible to ignore. Maybe Rusty was never angry at all. Maybe some hearts just come wrapped in faces the world doesn't know how to read yet. Do you think we judge animals, and maybe people too, by their faces before we give them a chance?